The UIM F1H2O World Championship continued its journey through the Far East with the new development Grand Prix of Zhengzhou, marking round 5 of the 2024 season in the People's Republic of China. This event marked Zhengzhou's second time hosting the prestigious race. Zhengzhou, a dynamic metropolis on the Yellow River Basin, is often referred to as the cradle of Chinese civilization. The Yellow River has nourished the region's fertile plains for millennia, making it the birthplace of Chinese civilization, a legacy reflected in the city's rich historical heritage. Ancient temples coexist with cutting-edge infrastructure and dazzling skyscrapers, embodying a blend of tradition and modernity. The region is also famous for being the birthplace of Kung Fu, the Shaolin Monastery, the heart of Shaolin Kung Fu. This revered site attracts thousands of pilgrims and students each year who come to train in the martial arts of Kung Fu and Tai Chi. Coinciding with the event was the 13th Zhengzhou International Shaolin Wushu Festival, which brought together 2,560 athletes from 56 countries and regions. Local pride ran high for the China CTIC team, the hometown favorite, drawing enthusiastic support from fans and influencers. Those brave enough could taste the thrill and experience the incredible G-forces of these racing boats while riding in the F1H2O two-seater. Now let's see what happened in the previous round at the Grand Prix of Shanghai, China, on the road to Sharjah. Fourth round of the UIM F1H2O World Championship returned to Shanghai, China after a 20-year hiatus, and anticipation was high. The event took place at the Wusongkou International Cruise Terminal in Baoshan District. The event coincided with a powerful nearby typhoon, which brought gusting winds and rough seas. In the qualifier, local hopes were pinned on China CTIC team's Peter Marin, but his campaign was cut short by a broken engine, which forced Marin to start from the back of the grid, a major setback for CTIC China. Rusty Wyatt proved unbeatable, securing pole position. Team Vietnam's Jonas Andersen finished second, while Eric Stark of Victory Team secured P3. Race day brought the roughest seas of the weekend, prompting officials to opt for a rolling start. Jonas Andersen surged past Wyatt, but the Canadian, holding the inside lane, was first around the turn, defending his lead. Andersen chased in P2, with Eric Stark close behind in P3. Starting from 16th, Peter Marin was determined to make a comeback for his home crowd. By lap 2, he had climbed to 11th, squeezing past Roms and Al-Fahim. By lap 4, the relentless Frenchman had advanced to 7th, gaining an impressive 9 positions. As Rusty Wyatt led through the choppy waters, the battle for second intensified between Andersen and Stark. The two Swedes risked everything over the treacherous waves, Stark pushing to the max on the outside. Both boats caught huge air. Jonas Andersen's boat hit an edge, which threw him off the race line, and Eric Stark made a daring pass to claim second place. Shortly after, the race had to be red flagged, bringing the action to an abrupt halt. With that, Rusty Wyatt secured his third victory of the season, followed by Eric Stark in second and Jonas Andersen in third. Only half points were awarded after 11 laps. Rusty Wyatt extended his lead in the Drivers' Championship, now 17.5 points ahead of Eric Stark and 18 points clear of defending champion Jonas Andersen. The new development Grand Prix of Zhengzhou featured a competitive lineup of 18 drivers from 9 teams fighting for the championship on the road to Sharjah. Sharjah team's Rusty Wyatt entered on a high with 3 Grand Prix wins this season. The Canadian burst onto the scene with a surprise victory on Lake Toba, Indonesia, and has since dominated the last 2 rounds in Sardinia, Italy, and just weeks ago in Shanghai. Wyatt currently leads the championship 17.5 points ahead of Eric Stark.
It's a big lead, but there's tons of racing left, so we can't get ahead of ourselves here for sure. We got to keep strong and keep pushing, trying some new things to see if we can get even faster and You know, this is going to be a bit of a different course. I feel like these boys might have a bit of a better boat for the calm waters if it stays calm and the really big course. So,
together with his teammate, Finnish driver Philip Rom's Sharjah team is tied for first place in the team championship standings with Team Vietnam. Victory Team's Eric Stark, who secured a Grand Prix win earlier this season in Vietnam, currently sits second in the championship, just half a point ahead of his friend and fellow Swede Jonas Andersson.
You know, it's 2 more races to go, this one and the final in Sharjah. Everything can happen in motorsport, so you just gotta keep fighting and do the best you can.
Stark's teammate Ahmed Al-Fahim faces a tough challenge on Zhengzhou's course. This is where he had 2 dramatic incidents last year on the circuit's longest straight. Team Vietnam's defending champion Jonas Andersson has faced a series of setbacks this season. With only 2 races left in the season, the pressure is mounting for Andersson to keep his title defense alive.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be tough to beat Rusty for the championship. You have a big lead, but it's still 60 points to race for, and it's gonna be tough, but we're gonna do all we can to try to beat them.
Andersson's teammate Stefan Arendt has proven himself a fierce competitor, consistently finishing in the top 5 and solidifying his status as a strong contender. All eyes were on China CTIC team's hard-charging Frenchman Peter Marin, and he delivered in spectacular fashion at the previous Shanghai round. Now he must keep that momentum alive as he races once again in front of home fans in Zhengzhou.
We are feeling very happy because we worked a lot yesterday to find some good option and good package for the quali. So we expected to do more and more best things.
Marin's teammate, American driver Brent Dillard, currently sits 13th in the Drivers' Championship. Stromoy Racing's Bartek Marszalek, who sits 5th in the championship, secured a 3rd-place podium finish in Sardinia. Along with teammate Marit Stromoy, the duo currently hold 3rd place in the team's championship. Team Abu Dhabi, the most successful team of the past decade, currently finds itself in an unusual 7th place in the team championship. A big shakeup followed as the team announced the departure of Alberto Comparato, who will be replaced by 5-time F2 world champion Rashid Al-Khamzi. He teams up with his cousin, veteran driver Thani Al-Khamzi, a key figure who has come close to winning the championship several times in his illustrious career. Together, they aim to bring Abu Dhabi back to top form. Ferdinand Zandbergen of the Red Devil SMC F1 team achieved his best result of the season with a strong 4th place finish in Shanghai. He races alongside 2-time world champion Sami Celio, who's looking to regain his winning form. F1 Atlantic team's Benjelf is currently 10th in the standings, racing alongside Portuguese veteran Duarte Benavente.
I mean, this year our plan was just to make ourselves consistently into that top 10 finish, and so far I think we're getting there. I'm now in the top 10 most of the time, so I just want to try and get into that top 6 and make sure, let's say, we've got a chance for that podium.
Finally, Maverick Racing rounds out the field with French drivers Cedric Deguin and Alexander Bourgeot. The Zhengzhou course is set on a scenic city lake featuring a 6-pin layout with a single challenging yellow right-hander. It includes a long super-fast straightaway that pushes drivers to their limits. The qualifying session sets the starting grid through 3 stages. In Q1, drivers have 20 minutes to set their fastest lap, with the top 12 advancing to Q2. There, they'll compete for 6 spots in Q3, the final 10-minute battle for pole position. In Q1, CTIC China's Peter Marin set an early pace with a time of 45.05 seconds. Marit Stromoy and Bartek Marszalek were on the edge of elimination, but a late surge from Marszalek secured 8th place, bumping out Benjelf. In the final seconds, Team Abu Dhabi's Thani Al-Khamzi claimed Q1 with a time of 44.72 seconds. In Q2, Jonas Andersson surged ahead with a 44.54 second lap. Meanwhile, World Championship leader Rusty Wyatt faced drama in the pits, struggling to keep his boat afloat, finally saving it after tethering it to the crane.
Duckbill!
They discovered a simple duckbill valve had gone missing. Rusty Wyatt was rushed back with 7 minutes on the clock and stormed to the front. Despite their efforts, the Al-Khamzi cousins from Team Abu Dhabi finished 8th and 9th. Also out were Bartek Marszalek, Brent Dillard, Ahmed Al-Fahim, and Philip Roms. For Q3, 6 boats lined up. Jonas Andersson set the pace with a lap of 43.18 seconds. Wyatt, fastest in Q2, couldn't unseat Andersson, finishing behind Marin, who clocked 43.60 seconds. Sami Celio ran in provisional third, but retired early due to a fuel issue. Victory Team's Eric Stark also returned to the pits with low fuel. Ultimately, Jonas Andersson took pole position, ready to defend his championship. Peter Marin claimed P2, Wyatt P3, Celio P4, with Stefan Arend in P5 and Stark in 6th.
Nice job, buddy. Nice job.
Thank you. Must have the pool to have any chance to beat Rusty, and now we have it. It was a tough quali, and the boat was not perfect today. I'm not really happy with the boat, but have to do some adjustment for the race.
Saturday featured 2 15-minute sprint races, their starting grids based on qualifying results, providing a crucial battleground for the championship title with half the Grand Prix points at stake. Jonas Andersson was on pole for sprint race 1, Sami Celio P2, Stefan Arend P3, and Rashid Al-Khamzi in 4th. The flag goes down, the race is on. Andersson has a great start, pulling away from the field while his Team Vietnam teammate Stefan Arend falls back. Ben Jelf in P6 rockets off the pontoon, leaving Thani Al-Khamzi behind. Meanwhile, Rashid Al-Khamzi is faring much better, passing Stefan Arend, but Arend goes flying across the race line. He barrel rolls, huge crash. The Estonian lands right side up and climbs out. He's okay. Here it is again. Arend's boat whips across to his starboard. Philip Roms barely escapes the crash. The boat suffered major damage, forcing Stefan Arend to retire from racing for the remainder of the event. Big blow for Team Vietnam. At the restart, Andersson holds on to the lead, while Rashid Al-Khamzi tries to cut in front of Sami Celio, but the veteran Finn defends P2. Behind, Thani Al-Khamzi attacks on the outside, passing Zandbergen, then F1 Atlantic's Ben Jelf. He catches up to his Team Abu Dhabi teammate Rashid Al-Khamzi in 3rd. Rashid battles his cousin Thani for half a lap, but eventually has to let the veteran driver through up into 3rd, prioritizing team strategy and championship points. But it isn't Team Abu Dhabi's day. On lap 8, Thani Al-Khamzi pulls to the side with gearbox issues. Rashid Al-Khamzi is on track for his first podium, but just 1 lap later, he's hit with a sudden engine failure. Both Team Abu Dhabi boats are now out of the race. That moves F1 Atlantic's Ben Jelf into 3rd, but with just 5 laps to go, he too pulls over with a rough-sounding engine. And so 3rd place passes to Sharjah Team's Philip Roms. Andersson crosses the line in 1st, followed by Sami Celio and Philip Roms. Cedric De Guin finishes 4th, earning 7 points for Maverick Team.
It was quite clean race for me. Tried to challenge Jonas, but he's too fast. No way.
In the end, I lost the 12-volt battery, so I didn't have the power steering or trim, so I was just surviving for the end of the race.
The remaining 9 boats line up for Sprint Race 2. China CTIC's Peter Marin in pole position, Rusty Wyatt right behind in 2nd, then Eric Stark and Bartek Marszalek in 4th. The lights go out, they're off. Peter Marin launches ahead of the field. Eric Stark in 3rd nudges ahead of Rusty Wyatt to his port side, going to the whole shot. The Canadian driver makes up ground and is side by side with Marin around the first buoy, but the Frenchman clings to 1st. Back in 7th, Murat Stromoy makes a bold move, cutting inside after the turn buoy to overtake both Al-Fahim and Dillard, pushing up to 5th. Ahead, Marin leads Wyatt, with Stark holding steady in P3. Rusty Wyatt is going full throttle, nipping at Marin's heels as he hunts for a way around the China CTIC driver.
Come on, Rusty, let's go!
Behind them, Eric Stark leads Bartek Marszalek in 4th, trailed by his teammate Moritz Stromoy in 5th, with Brent Dillard aggressively pursuing in 6th. The battle for first is fierce, Wyatt relentlessly pressing Marin, but the China CTIC driver holds his line, bringing home a triumphant first-place win to the cheers of the home crowd. Rusty Wyatt finishes a close second, with Eric Stark in 3rd. Stromoy Racing claims valuable points in 4th and 5th.
No pressure. We did a good start. After we have to manage the 2 first corner was not so easy because we discovered the angle. It was pretty good.
Good job here. You're a rocket. Yeah, I'd catch him and then I'd lose him. I'd catch him and I'd lose him. I was just trying to find a good line around that right-hander. I felt like I was struggling so much through that coming into the right-hander, and then I'd get in his wash and I couldn't really see a whole lot, and then kind of got me, and we had some speed for sure, but we just couldn't get close enough to him.
Team Vietnam's Jonas Andersson tops the leaderboard with 10 points. Peter Marin proudly waves the Chinese flag, celebrating victory in Sprint Race 2. Race day arrived with bright sunshine but intense winds, forcing the cancellation of the morning warm-up. Despite the setback, teams and drivers were ready to tackle the challenging conditions. Thousands of spectators and dignitaries filled the grandstands and lined the shore, eager to witness the fierce competition and cheer on their hometown team.
Yeah, the conditions are difficult. It's very windy and it's very gusty, so it comes and goes a lot. You can look at the water, it looks okay, and then you turn around and suddenly you have white caps everywhere. So it's going to be tricky for sure, but it's raceable. Now it's going to be survival of the fittest. Yes. Let's be fit.
The conditions favored Sharjah team's Rusty Wyatt, who was primed to fight from P3. Pressure mounted on China CTIC's Peter Marin to deliver for local spectators. Eric Stark, starting in 5th, faced long odds to keep his championship hopes alive. Jonas Andersson, starting from pole, needed to salvage his fading season. Behind Andersson in P1 was Peter Marin in P2, followed by Wyatt in P3, Sami Celio in 4th, and Stark in 5th. Bartek Marszalek lined up in 6th, with teammate Moritz Stromoy back in 10th. Thani Al-Khamzi of Team Abu Dhabi started in 15th after an engine change, while Rashid Al-Khamzi and Stefan Arendt were out. With the rough conditions, officials opted for a rolling start, prioritizing safety. The crowd held its breath as the 16-strong field motored out, engines roaring against the wind. And there it is, the green flag is up. Wyatt makes a move on Peter Marin on the inside. The Frenchman has the speed and defends P2 from Rusty Wyatt, coming around the left-hander. Marin moves to the inside and closes the door on Wyatt as he chases down Jonas Andersson in the lead. Back in 6th, Bartek Marszalek has a great start and charges up to Eric Stark. The Polish ace moves past Stark, now up in 5th. Marszalek continues his assault and takes the inside line, passing Red Devil SMC's Sami Celio. Marszalek now up in 4th. Andersson at the front, extending his lead over Marin in P2. At the back, Al-Khamzi swiftly overtakes the Maverick team and powers past Zandbergen, Benavente, and Stromoy, pushing the Team Abu Dhabi driver up to 9th from 15th. As they come past the start-finish line, and Ahmed Al-Fahim loses control, clips Stark and spins out. The race is yellow flagged. And there's more chaos. Brent Dillard crashes as well. The China CTIC driver catches too much lift, launching into a flip before landing upright. Here it is again. The number 8 catches too much lift after easing off the throttle and goes flying. Fortunately, both drivers are okay as the Osprey rescue team swiftly whisks them to safety. Meanwhile, Eric Stark is back in the wet pit as Victory Team scrambles to repair his boat, but the damage proves too severe. It's a tough break for Victory Team as both boats are now out of the race.
What happened to your boat? I hit you, you know that.
No, I didn't know.
I hit you and I flipped.
Really?
Yes.
Why you hit me?
I don't mean to hit you. Sorry.
It's okay. For the World Championship, probably now it's definitely over for us, but yeah, it's one more race to go. Everything can happen, and we're gonna do what we do best: is come back and fight and try to win our home race in Sharjah.
Daniel Kamzi also makes his way back to the pits.
I get 6th position, and then we passed from checkered flag. I was think my position is 6th, and then the guys tell me no, you go more back. I go out.
With Team Abu Dhabi now sidelined, the field shrinks to 12 as they line up for the restart. The top 4 boats bunch up, jostling for position and anticipating the green flag. And there it is, green flag. Rusty Wyatt, starting in P3, has good pace on the inside, but Peter Marin accelerates around the corner, shutting out the Canadian driver. Wyatt hits a wall of water behind Marin and loses pace, allowing Sami Celio to make a move on the outside. The 2 boats lock horns as they navigate the left-hander.
Clear by 2. Keep that tight inside line.
Celio finds the pace and passes Rusty Wyatt, claiming 3rd. Great racing from the veteran Finn. Meanwhile, at the back of the field, Maverick's Alexander Bourgeot gets off to a fantastic start, slicing through the spray to pass Duarte Benavente and Marit Stromoy, moving up to 7th, his highest position this season. Jonas Andersson maintains his lead through the restart, with Peter Marin in P2 and Sami Celio in podium territory in 3rd. But it's not looking good for Rusty Wyatt in 4th as Bartek Marszalek zooms past the struggling Canadian.
No power.
Bartek Marszalek moves up to 4th from 6th, while Wyatt fights to halt his slide down the field, battling engine problems. Red Devil SMC's Ferdinand Zandbergen has climbed 6 positions and is now putting pressure on Wyatt for 5th. The Dutchman makes a daring move on the outside through the rough seas and succeeds, passing Wyatt to take 5th. The Sharjah team driver slips to 6th from 3rd. Team Vietnam's Anderson now boasts over a 5-second gap to Marin in P2, while Celio is finally finding his groove this season in 3rd. Maverick Racing's Alexander Bourgeot, currently in 7th, is enjoying his best race position of the season, now trailing championship leader Wyatt. Rusty Wyatt has struggled with an engine issue since the race began, and by lap 15, he's forced to pull off the race line. A major setback for the Sharjah team's points leader, as Jonas Andersson is on track to secure the full 20 points if he can cross the finish line. A tremendous stroke of luck for Andersson, who also gains ground on Eric Stark with the Victory Team driver's earlier exit from the race. Meanwhile, F1 Atlantic's British driver Benjelf has battled back from 14th and now passes his teammate Benavente, moving into 8th place. The 2 F1 Atlantic teammates now trail Marit Stromoy in 7th, who's running the only 4-stroke engine in the field. As the laps wind down, Sami Celio never lets up the pressure on Peter Marin, always staying within striking distance, but the China CTIC driver holds steady. Entering the final lap, positions remain unchanged. It's an extraordinary day for Jonas Andersson, who claims his first win of the season after a flawless performance, while his 2 biggest rivals fail to finish. Peter Marin impresses with another 2nd place finish in China, and Sami Celio finally on the Grand Prix podium this season. A superb finish for Alexander Bourgeot, who earns 5 points for Maverick Racing. Marszalek and Stromoy secure valuable points in 4th and 7th, while F1 Atlantic's Jelf and Benavente finish in 8th and 9th. Philip Roms salvages a point for the Sharjah team. Andersson's clean sweep propels Team Vietnam to the top of the team championship standings, 10.5 points ahead of the Sharjah team in 2nd. Stromoy Racing remains 3rd, with China CTIC moving up to 4th.
Cannot attack Jonas and take care about staying in 2nd position, because the calculation about championship and everything. So we are very happy to finish 2nd. We start 2nd, we finish 2nd.
Happy now, finish after a very hard race in the podium. So minimum target is always finish in the podium, and when I finish, I normally most of the time can do it. So it was great.
It went fantastic. The boat was very easy to drive, and when I had 6-7 seconds to pit, I was trying to take it easy because it's it's so rough, so it's very easy to break the boat. But I'm super happy for the team that's working like hell. But now we're back on the top where we should be, so I'm very, very happy.
Jonas Andersson now climbs to the top of the driver's standings, heading into the final race in Sharjah, with Rusty Wyatt just 3 points behind as he gears up for his home race. Peter Marin jumps to third, narrowly edging out Eric Stark for fourth by just 2 points. The stage is set for an exhilarating showdown, culminating in the final stop on the road to Sharjah as the UIM F1H2O flag is passed to Team Sharjah's manager, Scott Gilman. See you there for the final round of the 2024 UIM F1H2O World Championship, where the victor will be decided.